I just want to give some important health updates in my world in case it can help other people. For the last 6 months, I've had additional problems with pain in all my joints, especially my knees, and a bunch of other physical problems, and I've had a hard time figuring out the cause. I've been tested for lupus and rheumatoid arthritis, and those came back negative. My inflammatory markers have all come back negative or super low, probably because I've been working so hard for years to be super healthy to heal from my chronic pain. So I've had horrible pain in all my joints, and I went from being able to walk 5 miles and do yoga and be pretty physically active for someone who's in a lot of pain to barely being able to walk these last few months. And one thing did come back abnormal in my initial blood draw in August when I started looking into what was going on, because it'd been a month at that point. And that was vitamin D. My vitamin D was about 20 nanograms per deciliter. Normal starts at about 30, and my doctors didn't mention a thing. They didn't even mention it. I saw the results and I thought, okay, I'll supplement. So I started supplementing 1,000 IUs because the daily requirement was like 400 to 800. And I thought, well, that should be sufficient, right? And I got my blood tested again 2 months later with other, they tested rheumatoid factor again, and it was still negative. And they did vitamin D again, and it was at 30. So like normal, but like at the level of right before insufficiency. Then I ordered some of my own blood work around the new year because I'm suspicious of a few different things that my doctors have not, I haven't gotten an MRI this whole time. I've been asking, I've had multiple appointments, been begging for an MRI, just like with the MR neurogram for my pudendal nerve. I can't get it. They're saying no. I also asked for Lyme disease testing because I'm literally a wild mushroom forager and I spend time in a hotbed of Lyme disease, and I've done that every year of my life. I mean, hiking in the mountains of a coastal Bay Area city with a high incidence of Lyme disease, and I still haven't gotten that test. But I did get my vitamin D tested again recently, and it was at 25 nanograms per deciliter. So it had gone down despite my supplementing. So then I decided to look further into vitamin D supplementation, and I found out that to raise yourself points, you have to take 5,000 nanograms per deciliter. You have to take 5,000 IUs if you're deficient or insufficient, or even 10,000. And that there's actually a lot of debate. Every time I pick at something medical, I feel like I find this hotbed of debate. So there's doctors that believe the normal daily requirement calculations made decades ago were completely wrong by a decimal, and that instead of 600 to 800, those amounts are actually 1/10 of what is needed to cut the incidence of diseases related to vitamin D deficiency. Here's the title of one of the many articles that I saw. So I basically realized that I was not going to be able to raise my levels with 1,000 IUs. I should actually be taking 10,000 IUs a day to try to raise my levels, as well as get in the sun. I also learned that you need to take vitamin D supplements in the morning because they compete with melatonin. Vitamin D competes with melatonin. It can keep you awake. You also want to take them with fats because they're fat soluble, and so they won't be getting absorbed if you don't eat them with fats. And that if you try to get vitamin D from the sun, you have to go out in a specific window of time in the day for your body to generate vitamin D with the sun. I also realized that I don't want my vitamin D at 30 nanograms per deciliter, the very bottom of the potential range of normal, that I want it at optimal, and that what optimal is even disputed. Some labs say 40 to 60, and some say 30 to 100. That there is research out there showing that higher amounts can be protective against autoimmune diseases and pain. And the other crazy thing is that when I researched joint pain and knee pain and vitamin D deficiency, I found out that yes, in fact, it is correlated, and that apparently vitamin D deficiency can cause the kind of joint pain and even specifically knee pain that I've been having. That's been a big mystery. And I just can't believe that yet again, I've been like severely incapacitated, miserable, had to give up things, like the last things that I could physically do, because I can't do physical things that involve sitting for long periods of time, or really any sitting at all, that I was able to, socialize by going out and standing in a museum. I could even do some social dancing. I could stand at parties. And for the last 6 months, that's been really painful, if not impossible. And it's just really crushed the last of my joie de vivre, my spirit, my hope. And I begged my primary care to help me, and they've just been like, okay, well, we'll see you in 2 months, and no, we can't do these tests for you, and oh, well, we don't know what's wrong, and no, we won't give you an MRI to see if you even have bursitis or fat pad impingement or tendonitis or meniscus microtears or any of the possible structural things that could be causing it. Like, they haven't even thought it was worth finding out. So I've had no idea this whole time if I should keep walking and keep doing as much exercise as I can, or if I should stop to let some injury heal, because no one will actually get me the diagnostic imaging that would show us that, which is an MRI. But hell, I'd rather not do any of that stuff and just get better by taking vitamin D. I just can't believe that yet again, like, there was an anomaly in my blood work that actually points to a potential cause of my pain, and my doctors didn't even mention it. And the only reason I've flagged it is because I ordered my own blood work. I was curious about parathyroid, hyperparathyroidism, and so vitamin D was tested again as part of that. And that's when I saw that despite my supplementing, that I was actually lowering and still not normal or within range, and it caused me to do a deep dive. So yet again, I feel that we have a system where, a woman presenting with majorly disabling pain is just sort of like shrug. It's a big mystery and no one's really gonna bother to find out what's going on. And my life can just, the remaining life that I have had to say, I've lost even more friends. I've lost even more work opportunities. I've just kind of been at my wit's end with this additional systemic pain and symptoms. I've always been able to sleep with the supplements and medications that I have with the pain, and with this new thing, I've had insomnia. If I can find journal articles talking about horrible knee pain in people with insufficient vitamin D levels, why can't my doctors who tested my vitamin D levels see that I have insufficiency and put 2 and 2 together? Why is that falling to me over and over again in my life? Why am I losing months, years of my life to problems that are apparent, and doctors don't figure it out? And it falls to me to spend basically all day, all my time, researching medical journal articles to learn anything.